everybody, this is Maria coming at you live from my YouTube channel. So we're going to start priming with the number 7 Airbrush Away Pore Minimizing Primer. It's hyperallergenic, it's like perfect for my skin. Why? Because I am acne prone. So I pointed at 3 fingers, which are my middle finger ending at my pinky. Those are your 3 softest fingers to use on your face. No tugging, no pulling, nothing excessive on your face. Next up, I'll be doing my eyebrows with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow in the shade Dark Brown with my Sonia Kashuk brush from Target, the number 27 brush. And to brush my eyebrows, I am using this double-sided e.l.f. brush. So what I tend to do with my eyebrows, I dip into the pomade, and with short strokes, I manage to fill in my eyebrows in a natural way. Well, to make it more natural looking, if that sounds better. In order to actually measure your eyebrows, what I do is I connect the end of my eye closest to my ear and connect that to the end of the eyebrow, and do the same with the other side of the eye and connect it to the beginning of the eyebrow in order to get that quote-unquote natural shape and length, of course. So once I'm semi-done with looking at the eyebrows and seeing how they're coming out with the amount of pomade I put on, I tend to go back, I look at it and see if they're even. Evenness is your best friend. If it's not even, then something's wrong. Alright, so I went back with the spoolie on the double-ended e.l.f. brush, which is the 203 Silver Collection, I believe it's called, just to move it around a little bit and to make it even. So to clean it up, what I use is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit, and I use one of the lightest shades, which is Banana in the Medium Contour Kit. And with that, I use it to shape my brows and clean it up. So it doesn't really matter if you mess up on your eyebrows, because regardless, you're going to have to clean it up and then blend it all in. So what I normally do is always start on the bottom and work my way from left to right, and then go back on top to clean everything up. So then I do the same thing on the other side. Precision is key. So when you're doing your eyebrows, what you want to do is go along the shape of your eyebrow. You never want to go up too high. Why? Because you're going to make your eyebrow a lot thinner than it already is. I made that mistake when I was younger, and I looked bad. Really, really bad. So once I'm done with my eyebrows and blending it all in, I'm coming in with the NYX concealer in the shade Porcelain, CJ01, and using a Wet n Wild concealer brush. And this I normally use on my acne that's popping out, or on redness that I want to cover up, or any other kind of imperfection on my skin. And then I go back in with my Anastasia contour kit, and I use the color Warm Coral to cover up my under eye, which is kind of dark at the moment. So with my ring finger, which is one of your softest fingers, I use that to mix in the warm coral under my eye. This way it doesn't tug or pull or anything on your skin. So next, in order to cover up the bags, or at least not highlight them, but cover them up a little bit, what I use is the concealer from NYX and a Wet n Wild concealer brush just to go over that quote-unquote bag line. What this does, it highlights it and makes it look like it's an even surface versus making it look like a bag underneath your eyes. So I'm going to clip my hair back because this is the part where I put on my foundation. So for my foundation, I'll be using the brush, the Ulta buffing brush, and I'll be spraying it with the Badescu Skincare. It's facial spray with aloe, herbs, and rose water. It's one of my favorite toners. It kind of helps me out when I'm a little dry, and since I'm acne prone, it helps. So the first foundation I'll be putting on is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte in the shade 105. I'll be using it in my T-zone and on a little bit on my cheeks and on my chin. For everywhere else, I'll be using the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation in the shade 03, which is light beige. And I'll be buffing that around all over the wall of space that I haven't filled in with foundation. With that, I like to take my time in order to get it everywhere and, of course, to blend everything else in. Because if you're not blended, then something's wrong. As you can see, I try not to go under the eye as much. Why? Because it is just foundation going straight on it. I like to mix the concealer with a little bit of foundation in order to make it, what is it called? Well, semi-perfect, if that makes sense. For the other concealer, I'll be using the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser in the shade 150 Classic Ivory. So I go straight under my eye with this one, and with a concealer brush from Real Techniques, which is the 102 brush from the Metals collection, I believe. It's a really, really good brush. I use that, and then I go back in with my buffing brush just to smooth everything else out. Next up, I go in with my Airspun. It smells like grandma, but you know what? It works miracles. And it's very dusty, so be careful with this. This is Airspun Loose Face Powder in the shade Translucent Extra Coverage. I actually got it from Walmart, which is actually pretty cheap. Because I know it's really, really hard to find, and me and my sister were taking so long just to find it. And once they restocked, we were on it. So right now I'm just going to contour my cheeks and my nose, going back in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. I'll be using the color Cinnamon on my nose and on my cheeks. I like to contour my nose because, well, it's kind of on the big side. But you know what? I make it work, and I feel cute about it. So I use the same concealer brush that I use for my under eye, and with that I use it to go from the temple to mid cheek, and then I go in with my buffing brush to buff down. What you want to do is go down, not up. You're going to be brown from up. So what I try to do is I try to flatten the buffing brush, and then from there I go down. And I do the same thing with my nose. I just buff in the same direction that the cream is on. And then after that, I go back in with my air sponge just to, in a way, shape my face or shape the area that I want contoured. And yes, it was hot in the room. So next up will be my eyes. I'll be using the Ulta Beauty Nude Matte Eyeshadow Primer. So a little bit goes a long way for this primer, which is a good thing, and it's affordable too. So again, with my ring finger, which is one of your softest fingers once again, I use that, and then I go in with my Real Techniques 200 brush. Just to smooth everything out. So I'm going in with my Peach palette, which is one of my favorite palettes. If you actually manage to buy it, and it smells amazing, it smells like peaches. So what I'm going to do is go in with these two shades as my base, Peaches and Cream and Georgia. I'll be using the same brush that I use for my primer, which is the Real Techniques 200 brush from the Magnificent Metals collection, I believe it's called. Then I'm going back in with the shade Summer Yum and using that in the outer corner and going in about halfway. The brush that I'm using is also a Real Techniques brush. It's a base shadow brush, but you know what? They have multiple uses, so I use it for everything. Next up, I'll be using the color Pure with a buffing brush. Well, it's kind of a crease brush from Real Techniques as well. Just to go from outer corner to inner corner, just to buff everything out, trying to take any fine lines out, and smoothing the color out. The hardest part about eyeshadow, in my opinion, is just trying to get it even. And then sometimes you see that you have more color on one side, the other one doesn't have enough. Then to go back in, it gets darker and all that good stuff. So it's a good thing to have a buffing brush or a nice fluffy brush just to blend everything out. Then I'll be going back in with my base shadow brush and grabbing the color Summer Yum, I believe it was. And then for my highlight on my brow, I'll be using the Real Techniques Magnificent Metals 203 brush. And then for my lid, I'll be using the 200 brush from Real Techniques, and I'll be using the color Luscious for my kind of pop color, my shining bright color. And then to buff everything out, I'll be going in again with my crease brush from Real Techniques. So now to dust everything off, I'll be using this fluffy brush from Wet n Wild. I got it for like $3, I believe, from Walmart. Walmart is your best friend when it comes to certain things. Not everything, but certain things. So without any powder or anything on it, I use it to dust everything off. Then I go in with my with my powder from Neutrogena. It's skin clearing mineral powder for acne prone skin, which is me, of course. My bronzer, I'm using the Milani bronzer All Over Glow with my Real Techniques cheek brush. This brush is more for blushes, of course, but I mean, like I said before, multi-use. So I like to carve my face out a little bit, not to the extreme, but just enough to make me a little tanner since I am fairly light right now. Summer was not my friend in making me tan. So next up, I'll be using the Tarte Party Blush, which is an Amazonian Clay 12-hour blush, and I'll be using a Real Techniques brush. This is the Dual Fiber Contour Brush. You know what? These have multiple uses. Use them. Next up, I'll be going in with my Wet n Wild Mega Glow Highlighting Powder, and I'll be using my Smashbox Fan Brush for this. I'm a girl that likes to glow, and, well, there you go. There it is. Yeah, pretty much. I like to glow, man. So I'm all done, and I'll be going in with my Urban Decay De-Slick Makeup Setting Spray. It's an oil control spray, so what I tend to do is do an X or a cross when spraying it. This way you get it all over. So after this, I do my lashes. What I do is I go back in with my e.l.f. Duo brush, and I use the spoolie just to, well, brush out my lashes. And then I go in with the Revlon eyelash curler to curl them up. For my mascara, I'm going to be using the Too Faced Better Than Sex Waterproof Mascara. And believe me when I tell you this, it really is waterproof. It is so hard just to get this thing off. So for my lips, I'll be using the Maybelline Beige Babe lipstick, which is by far one of my favorites. It's not a matte color, but it is a really, really creamy lipstick. It hydrates your lips and doesn't dry them out whatsoever. So if you want to purchase it, go for it.
What is up, everybody? My name is Maria. This is my first ever Get Ready With Me on my, well, YouTube, and I hope you guys really like it. Please like and subscribe. All the products that I used are going to be written down below, and some of them are pretty affordable, so go and check it out. Once again, like and subscribe. Tell me how I did. I'm all in for constructive criticism, so please let me know. Hope you guys liked it. To all my guys and ladies out there, stay forever fearless, alright? Bye.